There were steps we took for this expedition that we didn't realize then, how important it would be later. And then there were also those things that we had assumed we had under control that we were simply unprepared for. We try to find the balance between over-prepared and under-equipped, but it's not always obvious which one contributes more to the adventure. If you were to ask me which one of these scenarios I'd rather be up against, I'll just say this, my answer is entirely different now than it was before we started this trip. Okay, just in case you missed it last time, we parted ways with JP and Jesse as they sorted out the repairs for the 4Runner. We took a ride down memory lane as we drove through the burnt forest we had visited the previous year, had the biggest reroute we've had so far after hitting a dead end on the trail, got to witness the coolest piece of historic machinery we've ever seen, and wound up in the middle of nowhere without power steering in the Landcruiser. It takes a little while, but as you spend some time on the trail, you begin to adapt to the traveler's routine. Set up, eat, sleep, break down, drive, eat, drive, repeat. It's almost like any other routine except for the stakes are higher. I mean, you never wake up thinking something bad is going to happen, but that feeling is always there, like a dull, constant buzz. We do our best to lessen or mute it, but it's oftentimes the things we overlook that leave behind those memories we never forget. This is Keeney Pass. Jonathan Keeney was an ambitious young gentleman at the age of 19. He decided he was going to head west, and this is before the Oregon Trail existed. He did some trapping and fur trading. He actually went back to Independence, Missouri, where he was from, had a family, and decided the West was calling him again. So led a wagon train, and I'm currently standing in the tracks where they came through. What you're staring at now is a wagon path, and then if on the right there's a footpath, so it ran in parallel. And contrary to popular belief, and what many people think, they didn't ride on the wagons much. They mostly walked 2,000 miles from the west, so that's a lot of walking. This is one of those times when the reality hit us. We walked a mile in the shoes of the pioneers, and it brought a realism to the gravity of what we were doing. This was something larger than ourselves. I mean, sure, it started out with a couple of guys in a shop, but the impact of what we were doing reached far beyond that. But it was the unity and spirit the pioneers displayed that inspired us to follow in their footsteps nearly 200 years later. We traveled alongside the trail for some time, winding our way closer to one of the steepest roads of last year's recon trip. It was at least as hot as the year before, over 100 degrees on the top, the rocks in our path just big enough to make it challenging, and our two wagons both as heavy as they'd ever been. This is not the kind of situation you want to spend too much time in. We cautiously made our way to the top, our oxen slow, but the earth was patient. We crested the hill. The temperature on the Landcruiser was starting to raise. It was hot, inside and out. We were all a little overheated at this point, but none of us wanted to be stuck here. So we waited just long enough to see the temperature gauge slide into normal and headed down the hill into cooler terrain. Well, we're coming down this trail, everything was going fine, and then all of a sudden Zach goes, "Hey, is the steering really hard usually?" And I was like, "I don't know," and so I grabbed the wheel, and it definitely was hard. We lost our power steering. So we're trying to figure out where it's coming from, if it's a line or if it's the actual pump. But fingers crossed it's just a line. Got a little hot and blue, and so we need to repair it. So we'll see what happens. Can you start it up real quick?
Okay.
God, that's hot. Wow, everything is just boiling right now.
Turn it off!
Chest. Yeah.
Oh, we have no power steering.
Do we have some?
Calling the team mechanic again. When we don't know, we call someone who does.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, buddy. So we're way out in Idaho, or almost to Idaho, and my power steering pump, we think it's a line that went out.
Okay.
My question is, can you run ATF in your power steering pump?
Yes, you can absolutely put ATF in the power steering pump.
Okay. So we can put some ATF in there, see where the leak is coming from, and then repair that hose, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the deal.
Okay, sounds good. That's all we need to know. So we figured out what it was. About as simple as it could be. It's just a blown hose. The truck got a little hot coming up these steep hills in this 100-degree weather, and so I think what happened is it just kind of overheated some of the hoses, and then it blew off one of the power steering ones. So gave Tank a call, made sure automatic transmission fluid was fine to put in our power steering pump. He said, yeah, that's good. Fix the hose and get on your way. So that's what we're gonna do. Sometimes things go wrong in the right kind of way. It's almost as if all the planning and preparation was starting to pay off. We had just enough service to make a call, had the replacement hose we needed, and we're only miles away from Oahe Lake, an oasis in the eastern Oregon desert. So we pulled in for a quick swim and a much needed break for the wagons. Then it was back on the trail and through the towering walls of the majestic Succor Creek Canyons. It's small moments and big canyons that make the miles of dust and dirt worth every second. It's not often, but occasionally we run into something unexpected that takes our breath away, and Succor Creek was one of those areas. The natural painted walls cut by the peaceful creek that winds its way from the Snake River is one of those hidden gems in our native state. We'd see many more milestones ahead, and bigger ones no doubt, but we crossed the first state on our journey. Our native Oregon now behind us, we're getting close to uncharted territory, and we're all feeling a little nostalgic about the short time we'd spent on this expedition. I'd like to welcome you guys to Idaho. A day early. We had a route from last year, so we did a lot less backtracking, and it's hot. I gotta say, it's probably right near 100 at least. So we're all boiling, and welcome to Idaho.
One state down, 6 days, bam.
It'd been only 6 days and we'd already met some interesting people, faced a few obstacles, overcame some adversity, and put ourselves in history's path to relive our nation's past and recapture our sense of adventure. There were things that we planned for, and those we didn't. But the memories made on this odyssey were forged in the bonds of friendship and honed through the miles of trail as we pressed our mark east into the earth below. We were down one of 6 states on our journey, and we needed to refuel, resupply, and stop for a much-needed brew and some food at 10 Barrel, which was beginning to become a bit of a tradition for us as we entered Idaho. What we hadn't planned on is the welcoming gift the city gave us for accidentally parking in the wrong spots.
Oh, you got a ticket? What? You got a ticket. No way.
For real?
You got a ticket, dude? How much is it for?
Welcome to Boise.
Oh,
$50, dude. Oh, if it's paid within 14 days, it's 25.
Oh shit,
Oh, so
that's a pretty good
$50 total
deal.
then.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Dang.
So we gotta pay tomorrow.
All right.
Damn, you got a ticket too, Kobe?
Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, Boise.
$50.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, boys.
Well, actually, no, mine's $40. You like the Ranger better.
Well, here we are. Overall, it's going good. I'm, impressed with the way everybody's working together and everybody's staying patient with one another when we get tired and hot and dusty. So I'm excited to see what tomorrow brings. Onward and forward to parts unknown. So
I think that we're growing as a team. I think that we're learning each other's good and bad sides and how to deal with things and what buttons to press when and when not to. So
we had many more miles ahead of us and more surprises, I'm sure. But tonight we'd celebrate the little victories and get lost in our imagination as the night slid away.
Airing down, buddy.
Mutual beneficial. You get the sweat, good for your pores, good for your health, and you get your tent poles in. And you know what? Not a guy in the world doesn't like getting his tent pole in.
if I had jugs like this, would you marry me?
You what?
Jugs like the village feeders, would you marry me?
Yes, I'd marry you.
Drugs like that, I wouldn't even be your friend.
Oh God.
You don't even have a good American accent. You live here. I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
An American accent. Gotcha.
That was funny.
That was pretty good.
And he actually did it in a good Russian accent.